The year 2025 has arrived, and the world feels increasingly unfamiliar. A profound shift is underway. Old rules and norms in politics and international relations are eroding. This isn't limited to one country. It's a global phenomenon. People everywhere are witnessing events that challenge their sense of stability. The post-Cold War order is shaking, fueling widespread uncertainty. Political polarization, economic anxieties, and rising geopolitical tensions all contribute to this unease. Rapid technological change only adds to the disorientation. Traditional institutions are struggling to keep up. Major world leaders are making decisions once considered radical, with ripple effects felt worldwide. Headlines now speak more of confrontation than collaboration. Many wonder if this is a temporary phase or the start of a more chaotic era. Alliances are straining and multilateralism is waning. A more transactional nationalistic approach is taking hold. This shift has deep implications for global governance and cooperation. The sense of living in an upside-down world is not just emotional. It reflects real changes in global power and interaction. The future of international stability is more uncertain than ever. In June 2025, the Trump administration announced sweeping new travel restrictions. A full travel ban now targets nationals from 12 countries, mostly in Africa and the Middle East, including Afghanistan, Chad, Iran, Libya, and Yemen. 7 other countries, such as Cuba, Laos, and Venezuela, face partial restrictions. Immigrants and many non-immigrant visa holders are barred. The administration claims these measures are necessary for national security, citing terrorism risks, high visa overstay rates, and lack of cooperation on deportations. For example, Chad's visa overstay rate was nearly 50% in 2023. Other justifications include alleged visa rule violations and concerns over passport security. Iran and Cuba are cited for state sponsorship of terrorism. The list was narrowed from an initial review of 41 countries, with 17 making the final cut. The policy's impact is immediate and sweeping, affecting travel, business and family connections. Critics argue the bans are overly broad and target vulnerable nations. The administration insists the moves are about protecting American borders. But the global response has been swift and critical. The Trump administration frames the travel ban as a national security measure, citing weak information sharing and identity management in targeted countries. Officials claim the policy is based on security assessments, not bias. Yet critics argue the ban is politically motivated, designed to appeal to Trump's base by stoking fears about immigration. Inconsistencies fuel skepticism. Chad, with a few hundred visa overstays, is banned, while Spain, with over 20,000, is not. Egypt, linked to a recent attack, is omitted, likely due to its strategic value. Experts call the ban national security theater, more about optics than real threats. The policy's human cost is high, separating families and disrupting lives. Former officials and civil rights groups condemn the ban as un-American. The debate goes beyond policy. It's about the nation's values and global role. Does the ban truly enhance security, or is it a political tool with diplomatic and humanitarian costs? The answer remains hotly contested. The controversy highlights deep divisions over America's identity. The world is watching how the US balances security and openness. The stakes for global leadership are high. President Trump's expanded travel ban has sparked international outrage. Affected nations, especially in Africa, see the policy as discriminatory and unjust. Diplomatic protests have flooded in, straining U.S. relations with these countries. In response, some nations are canceling visas for Americans and considering further restrictions. This tit-for-tat escalation signals a new assertiveness among targeted countries. The diplomatic fallout is likely to be long-lasting and damaging. American businesses and tourists now face new hurdles abroad. Academic and cultural exchanges are also at risk. The cycle of retaliation undermines global cooperation and reciprocity. U.S. citizens may find themselves increasingly unwelcome in parts of the world. The backlash highlights a shift. Countries are more willing to push back against U.S. policies. The travel ban is now a symbol of eroding American soft power. America first may lead to American isolation. The world is reassessing its relationship with a more unilateral U.S. The consequences for diplomacy and global influence are profound. The new travel ban casts a shadow over the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. There's uncertainty about whether athletes from banned countries will be allowed to compete. Some officials promise exemptions for Olympic participants, but the process is unclear and bureaucratic. Reports suggest athletes, officials, and support staff could still face major hurdles. Boycotts or reduced participation could undermine the game's universality and prestige. Fans, journalists, and essential personnel from affected countries may also be blocked, altering the Olympic experience. Organizers face logistical and diplomatic headaches. The International Olympic Committee is watching closely, as fair access is a core principle. The road to LA 2028 is now fraught with political obstacles and global scrutiny. The travel ban is just one part of President Trump's broader disruption of political norms. Aggressive tariff policies have generated trillions in revenue, but slowed economic growth and raised consumer prices. Legal challenges to these tariffs add uncertainty to the global economy. Controversial appointments and purges in key agencies, especially the FBI, have fueled accusations of politicization. Critics say these moves prioritize loyalty to Trump over the rule of law. There are concerns about revenge investigations targeting political opponents. Attempts to dismantle programs like AmeriCorps and sanction international judges signal a confrontational stance. Trump's presidency is marked by legal and political controversies, including 2 impeachments and felony charges. His governance style is unorthodox and often unilateral. The travel ban fits this pattern: decisive, controversial, and resistant to opposition. These actions contribute to a sense of upheaval at home and abroad. U.S. institutions and alliances are under strain. The administration's approach is reshaping America's global image. The world is adjusting to a presidency that breaks with tradition. The consequences are still unfolding. Unusual global events mirror the broader instability of this era. The public assault on French President Macron symbolized rising political frustration, even in stable democracies. Meanwhile, African nations are pushing back against Western influence. demanding more equitable partnerships. This assertiveness is reshaping diplomatic dialogues and challenging old power dynamics. Rising nationalism and weakened multilateralism are straining traditional alliances. Countries are prioritizing national interests, making the world more competitive and unpredictable. The certainties of the post-Cold War era are fading. Global upheaval is now the norm, with shifting alliances and new power centers emerging. The world is in transition, unsettled, and searching for a new order. The upside down feeling is about more than policy. It's a fundamental shift in how the world operates. The era of US dominance is ending. Global power is now more diffuse and contested. We're entering a multipolar world where influence is shared among states, blocs, and non-state actors. Traditional alliances are being reevaluated, with old loyalties tested and new partnerships forming. US tariff wars have pushed some countries to seek alternative trade arrangements. Domestic instability and political polarization in the US weaken its global credibility. Allies question America's reliability, while rivals are emboldened. The old rules are under strain, but new ones haven't fully emerged. This creates uncertainty, but also opportunities for new voices and arrangements. Nations are redefining their roles in a changing world. The sense of confusion is widespread as leaders and citizens adapt to shifting currents. The global order is in flux, with stability and influence up for grabs. Navigating this new landscape is a challenge for all. The events of 2025 mark an age of upheaval and transformation. The travel ban is just one sign of rising nationalism and unilateralism. Retaliatory visa bans and diplomatic tensions are immediate consequences, but the long-term impact is still unfolding. The criticism and controversy reflect deeper debates about leadership and global cooperation. The Olympics, tariff wars, and political scandals all point to a world struggling to adapt. New power dynamics are emerging as old hierarchies are challenged. This transition is unstable, but it could lead to a more equitable global order. Navigating this era requires diplomacy, understanding, and a commitment to common ground. The world feels upside down because it's in profound transition. The challenge is to adapt constructively and seek a more stable, cooperative future